Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to PUSH511 Radio. I want to thank you guys for your patience. I had a couple weeks of travel not too long ago that has kind of got me a little behind schedule, but back here to get going. And before I get our next podcast guest on the show here, I wanted to take just a couple minutes here to discuss the 5 factors of health. Now, these are going to be put together based on an arrangement that Ben Bergeron out of CrossFit New England and CompTrain has put together. And I think it's a really, really nice, tidy way to look at ways that we can improve our health based on things that are within your control. This is going to ignore genetics because that is something that you are either born with or not. But these 5 things are something that today you can implement in your life in order to help start improving your health. And with health, what we're shooting for is constant improvement over a lifetime, so that way you can, for lack of a better term, wipe your own ass when you're 90 years old, not have to worry about having someone else there to do that for you. So we're striving for a target on a low horizon in the distant future, so that way we are constantly able to continue improving as we grow old and age, and we're able to enjoy our lives as we get older and extend our life. So what those 5 factors of health are eat, sleep, train, think, and connect. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to kind of break down each one, what it means to me, and what you can do to help implement this into your life today in order to help make improvements and improve your overall health. So the first one, eat. So that's going to be your nutrition. You want to eat real food, not too much, mostly plants. You want to be eating, how Greg Glassman put it, eat enough that supports activity, but not body fat. And if you kind of go along those lines, you'll put yourself in a good scenario. And the old adage, or the easy way to know if you've had a successful trip to the grocery store, is if you stay on the perimeters of the grocery store. That's typically a safe bet for getting the type of foods you should have. Because as soon as you walk in a grocery store, most of the time you walk into the produce section, fruits and veggies. E.C. Sinkowski would say that a challenge she would put to people in order to get them to eat more fruits and vegetables is to weigh out 800 grams of fruits and vegetables, and that's the core and all. So if you take an apple, put it on a scale. If you take a cucumber, put it on the scale, just weigh it all out, 800 grams in a day. That's a good way to get the amount of good, healthy fruits and vegetables each day that you should be eating. So if you walk in the grocery store, you start in the produce aisle. Typically works its way around to the meat section where you would get your lean proteins, then over to the dairy section and the eggs, and around there. So if you're staying mostly on the perimeters of the grocery store, you're probably doing okay. So nutrition, eat real food, not too much, mostly plants. That's a nice, safe bet for improving your nutrition. If you have any other questions about that, we do have a nutritionist in-house here at PUSH511, Karen Apollony. If you go to our website, you can hunt her down and schedule a 30-minute intro, a free 30-minute intro to come in here and chat with her about our nutrition program to help you get you going in that direction. Second one is sleep. So quality, quantity, and consistency all matter. So quality, you want to try to shoot for between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Anything less than 8 hours is getting a little tough, but so if you can get that 8 hours every night, that's what you should be shooting for. So if you're someone who goes to bed at 11 o'clock at night and then strives to get into the gym the next morning for the 6 a.m. class, try to get to bed a little bit earlier than that. Now, after that, you have quality. So how do you go about getting good quality sleep each night? You should be setting up your bedroom as a haven for comfort and sleep. So you should try and sleep in as dark a room as possible. So getting blackout shades is a nice way to do that. You should set the temperature pretty low too. I think I read somewhere between 64 and 66 degrees is kind of that ideal temperature. Me personally, a little bit lower than that, but a nice cool room makes it easier to sleep throughout the night. And then consistency. You want to try and get this good sleep every night, because when you go to sleep, it helps your body hit the reset button. It allows you to recover from your training, which we're going to talk about next, and the stressors that you put on your body every day. So in order to see the results from your training, you will train, which puts a stress on your body. And then in order to adapt from that stress, you need to recover from that stress. And sleep is a huge factor in that. It's where all the good things happen that allow that recovery and those gains to happen. So sleep, number 2. Number 3, like we just said, train. So that's your exercise. And this typically becomes the easiest thing for most folks, because especially at a CrossFit gym like here, you come in, it becomes a lot of fun. You have something different to do every day. You have your friends that you come here with. So the training part and the working out becomes the fun part. But basically what we believe in here, constantly varied functional movements performed at a relative high intensity. And we think that's the fitness prescription for allowing people to hit the goals they want, live a healthy lifestyle, be able to handle anything they run into in an everyday life, and go that route. So the training, the exercise, that typically is the easy one to get out of here, because that's also something that you have a lot more accountability immediately around you. You have your coach, you have other people in your class. So the training, the exercise, that for most folks becomes the easy thing, especially when you're a part of a community like here, or you join a CrossFit gym. The training becomes the most fun out of all this. So first 3, we have eat, sleep, and train. Next, we have think, or your mindset. And something that Ben Bergeron says religiously is never whine, never complain, never make excuses. And he had a really good way of looking at complaining one day, where it was basically a flow chart that said, if there's something you're complaining about, then you need to ask yourself, is there something you can do about it? And if the answer is no, then there's no point in complaining. And if there's something you can do about it, then do something about it. And again, there's no point in complaining. And it basically just goes back to the idea that you just never want to bring attention to a negative scenario. It just doesn't do much to help improve the scenario or the situation that you find yourself in, but instead reframes your perspective to try and think of ways that you can learn from that nuisance, or find a way to fix the thing that is getting in your way there. And there's a quote from Einstein that I like as well. He said something along the lines, I'm probably paraphrasing here, that the most important decision a person can make is if they live in a hostile or a friendly world. And this type of perspective on the world around you just really helps frame whether you'll have a positive or a negative attitude when you come across things throughout your life. So if you wake up every day and you think that everything's against you, then it's going to be really difficult to see anything else when you see the world through that lens. But if you can understand that every time you do hit a road bump or something that derails your progress, because success is never going to be on a straight line, it gives you a different perspective if you are able to look at it as an opportunity to learn and continue to move forward. Because the way you think and the way you look at things has a huge effect on any goal that you're striving towards, and no one is saying it is easy, and these thoughts and emotions are natural for absolutely everybody. But I look at every opportunity that you run into one of those roadblocks as a chance to practice a little mental toughness, to be able to be aware that those thoughts are occurring, so that you can then take a deep breath, slow down, and then find the way to take the next step towards what you're actually striving for. And one more quick quote from a book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which I highly recommend everybody read. once a year, but at least once in your life. It's an account of a psychologist who was in the concentration camps from Nazi Germany. He survived and got out and wrote this book on his account, and the way he then started his practice of logotherapy. And it's definitely a very intense read, but I highly think it's worth it. And he basically said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And basically what he's saying here is no matter what the circumstance that you find yourself in, no one can take away from you the decisions that you can make on the situation that you're in and how you view the scenario. And if you read the book, it's a really good perspective on how even in the absolute worst case scenario that those folks had to go through, he gives really good examples of how people were able to get through it, and it almost every single time had to do with their mindset and finding meaning for their life to get through one of the, if not the worst tragedy in human existence. So that, again, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl has a really, really big impact on me and a good way to reframe how I view the world. So we've gone over eat, sleep, train, think, and lastly, connect. And this is about your relationships. And that's one of the really good things about joining a CrossFit gym that I've found, at least, is the community aspect. And it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, especially in health communities now, partially because of CrossFit, is the community. But it really is a real thing where you come in and you make some of your closest friends for life. I mean, me personally, I met my fiance at my CrossFit gym here, and some of my closest friends here as well now. So it really is, and it's about how, with these relationships, it's not about how many relationships you have. It's about how deep and meaningful they are. There was a Harvard study that followed people for their entire lifetime, and what they found is the people who were the healthiest, lived the longest, and had the highest quality of life, was the one common factor they found between all of them was that they had these deep, meaningful relationships. So that is such a huge part of living a long and healthy lifestyle, is taking the time to develop those meaningful relationships. And again, it does not have to be how many you have, it's how strong and how important and how meaningful those relationships are for folks to help stay healthy throughout their lifetimes. So just a real quick episode today to go over these. I think it's a really, really nice, concise way to lay these out for things that you can control and really start to change starting today. So eat, sleep, train, think, connect. If you have any questions about any of this, please reach out to me. You can find me Instagram, Facebook, email, Jarrett at push511.com. If you want to discuss any of this in more detail, if you are a member, come find me. If you're not a member, we have no sweat intros on our website where you can come in and chat. We can talk about your goals and see how we can help you improve your health as well. But I guess that's as good a place as any, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.